Hello, I'm Raymond Mayfield, and thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast today. I appreciate it so much. You can find all my videos on the World Wide Web at rmayfield.com or just raymondmayfield.com. I'm also on many other outlets on godtube.com. I have many views on those sites up there. I've now exceeded 25,000 views since last May when I started doing these videos, and I appreciate you sharing these videos with other people, and I appreciate you listening, and I love you very much and want to minister the Word of God to you today. I want to entitle this message, Let's Go Fishing. After Jesus Christ had been crucified, he made 12 appearances to different ones after he had risen from the dead. And I want to talk about one of those appearances that happened in the 21st chapter of the book of John. The Lord had promised to meet them in Galilee, and only 7 of them were present, but what a wonderful miracle is about to take place. In chapter 21, verse 21, and after these things Jesus showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias. It was not at Jerusalem, in a sense, that had been abandoned because of the crucifixion. In John 21:3, then Simon Peter said unto the rest of them, I'm going fishing. And they said unto them, we're going to go with thee. And they went forth and entered into a ship, and immediately they caught nothing. They fished all night, and they must have been weary. I've been out on fishing trips like that and fished a long time and caught nothing, and it can be weary when you fish all night and catch nothing. The disciples had went back to their old occupation. They did not eat the bread of idleness, but they went right back to doing what they had done before. And at dawn they saw a man standing on the beach, but couldn't tell who it was. They didn't know who that man was. Maybe they thought he was there to try to buy some fish. And in verse 5 it says that Jesus calls out to them, have you got any fish, boys? And they said, no, we don't have any. And Jesus said to them, throw your net on the right side of the boat, and you will get plenty of them. So we did, and we couldn't draw in the net because of the weight of the fish. There were so many in verse number 6. What a wonderful harvest of fish they caught. Then Jesus said to Peter, it is the Lord. John was the first one to recognize that it was the Lord. Folks, I want to tell you, when the Lord shows up, it's a wonderful thing. John was so observant, it is the Lord. And when Peter got that news, Peter's eagerness to meet the Lord was very evident. Simon Peter put on his tunic, for he was stripped to the waist, and jumped into the water and swam ashore to meet Jesus in verse number 7. The rest of those, the disciples stayed on the boat and pulled the loaded net to the beach about 300 feet away in verse number 8. And verse 9 it says, and when we saw that fire was kindled and fish were frying on it, and there was bread. What a welcome sight that must have been for the disciples to see. They were probably hungry, and they were probably ready for something to eat. And Jesus shows up sometimes in unexpected places. His presence is always with us. Never forget, when difficult times come, Jesus is always right by your side. Jesus said, bring some of the fish you have just caught. There were 153 large fish, and yet the net wasn't torn. That was another miracle. And then Jesus said, come and dine, and we were serving them bread and fish. We sing that song in church every once in a while, come and dine. Jesus has a table spread where the saints of God are fed. He invites his chosen people to come and dine. And the Lord wants you to come and dine at his table by praying and reading his word and enjoying the wonderful, refreshing presence of his mighty power. He wants to do great things with you in your life if you'll just allow it. This is the third time that he appeared to the disciples, and I think some of the reasons I've written down here why he appeared to them He wanted to encourage the disciples. He wanted to let them know he was still with them. And he wanted them to know he is a miracle worker. And a little bit later on this chapter, he is going to have a conversation with Peter. And this is going to be quite a confrontation when he meets Peter. And he's going to ask him if he really loves him and find out his true feelings. Because Peter needed encouragement because he had denied the Lord. And the Lord wanted to spend some time with him to regenerate the fire that is going to burn in Peter's life a little bit later on. This is Raymond Mayfield, and I appreciate you listening so much today. I love you with all my heart, and I'll talk to you again real soon.